What's up, guys? I never in a million years would think that I'd be making a video about rider safety and making a petition to try to make the sport safer, right? I never thought I'd be in this situation. But as a business owner, as a coach that coaches people, that put their lives on the line, and having friends year after year go through this, things have to change. When I made this video, and I made the original video, and I made it from my gut and from my heart and out of instinct, I had no idea that it would have had such an impact. Over the last month, I took a back seat and I watched and I waited to see what would happen. I talked to people on the phone. Many people reached out and said, let's do it, let's create something. And I kind of waited. I was kind of afraid, actually, of like standing up and trying to do something. But I can't wait anymore. Things have to change. We're still seeing crashes. We just recently saw a crash in the Dauphiné that took out a bunch of the GC favorites. We saw in Giro de Lombardia, we saw the Giro favorite flip over a guardrail, almost die, and now he's out of the Giro. In the same very race, we saw one of the Tour de France favorites get hit by a car that made its way onto the course. Things have to change, and they're not changing. The stories that we've all been reading are the stories that happen year after year. When I started talking to people, I heard so many stories that were so similar to experience that I had myself, that my teammates have had, and the list goes on and on and on. People losing their lives because of bad course design, because of unsafe conditions. More focus is on the insurance for these events and the waivers that you sign than actually putting safety as number one priority. And the reality, folks, is that this is why we do a race. Because you know what? You could do a group ride and get the same exact experience, maybe even safer than a lot of these races. But we expect safety. What's the point of having a racing license and paying the fee just so you can get in these races? No, it's so someone has your back. No one has our back, and that's going to change. And it has to change by what we're going to do. If you go in my link, click my link in my bio, or go in my story or on my Twitter, or find it on Facebook and send it out and share it with your friends. There's a petition. The petition is to force change and to show awareness that the industry and the fans and the racers and all of us don't want this to continue. We don't want the racers to risk their lives. We don't care if there's a sprint finish that's 60 miles an hour. 40 miles an hour is just fine for us. We don't need to see dangerous downhills. We can't even see them because the TV cameras can't even get in there to video, and it looks non-dangerous and non-exciting from the helicopter view on the top. MotoGP is a different sport. Cycling is cycling, and what we love at the end of the day is watching man on a machine versus man or woman on a machine. That's it. We're not interested in seeing blood on the side of the road, broken dreams, dead people. That's not what we're interested in. We're interested in the freaking soul and the heart of this sport, of using the mind to overcome the body on some beautiful machinery. So let's make this happen. What we're doing in this petition is all we're trying to do is create a third-party group. This third-party group will then create the guidelines and oversee the guidelines that all the races and all the federations have to abide by. This party will be made up of racers, ex-racers that understand safety, that remember their experiences. Every single pro racer and ex-pro racer, when they see these crashes and they see these courses, they know exactly what that feels like, and they know exactly what's dangerous. When I go and ride rides with my clients, I know the corners that they have to slow down for. They don't. My clients, a lot of them have a lot of experience on bikes. But the difference between a pro that's done it for a lot of years is that they've crashed themselves and they've been around crashes. We know how these things happen. We can spot it from a mile away, what's going to be dangerous and what's going to be safe. So we need this organization, and we need the UCI and the federations and the race promoters to be accountable to this organization. This organization has to certify the courses and the finishes. They have to drive it. They have to see it. They have to certify every single section. They have to go ahead of time. The reality is These races have their courses done way in advance. Way in advance, because they have to get the permits with the counties, with the countries, with the cities. The same way they have to get a permit, they need to get the okay from the Safety Foundation organization, this third-party organization. And they have to be held accountable before the event. We can't have this policing after the event. Oh, this guy ran into a pole. Shouldn't have the pole there. How easy is that? That's ridiculous. The promoter can just say, oh, well, next year we won't have the pole. Then the next year they have the pole. Who cares? And you can't tell these races, no, we won't have your race anymore, because we need the races. But it's so simple. If we have a third-party organization that comes in and views these courses and says, hey, this isn't safe, let's change this. And you know what? This committee made up of ex-racers will know exactly how to make it safer. Oh, let's move the finish line a kilometer up. Okay? Poland, great example. Just move that finish line a kilometer up. Totally safe. At the bottom of the downhill, death. At the top, safe. That simple. It's not going to cost anything different. Fans will be fine. Town will be fine. We can go ahead of time. Another big thing is looking at road conditions. Is there gravel on the course? Is there oil? I've been in a million crashes because people come around a corner and they can't see the gravel around the corner. Now, people might argue and they say, oh, well, there's going to be gravel on the road for rain. That's fine, but you can look ahead and see where these areas are. I've rode Mount Lemmon 1 billion times. I know exactly where, when it rains, where the gravel and the stuff comes out. It's in the same place every single time. Any pro, ex-pro driving these downhills can see where the runoff comes and how the stuff gets on the road. They do it in triathlon, and there's no turns in most of the triathlons. They sweep the roads. We can do that. We can go ahead and make this thing safer. If a car goes ahead on the road and leaks oil all over the place, we can identify that and have that cleaned up ahead of time. No problem. It's totally doable. Tour de Gila, for example. San Dimas. Career-ending, life-ending crash every single year in the same place. San Dimas. Same barrier. 2 people's career, male and female, almost over from this. Tour de Gila, career after career over on that downhill. Does the Gila Monster downhill do anything for the race? Is there any fans out there? Does it actually shape the race ever? Does anyone actually blow the race apart on that climb and make it amazing? No! It's a parade. Everybody races down the downhill. People crash all over the place. Somebody ends their career or their life, regroups, and then it parades back up, and then they race up the last climb. Just take it out. And if you really want to have it, the safety commission could come in and say, hey, look, you need to have this many flaggers at this distance and get people to slow down. You see it in Grand Fondos. George Hincapie has a dangerous descent on his Grand Fondo. There's a ton of flaggers. There's a ton of people out there. No one's crashing. It's that simple. It's very easy for people that understand, like George, that know where to put the people, that's a dangerous downhill. We don't need to surprise people. We can educate them. And the last part of the safety committee, and you'll see this in the petition, when there are sections, the committee makes a communique for the riders and for the teams to follow. So we've got radios in our ears. We have team meetings. It's very easy to identify and say at 100 kilometers, there's this iffy section. It passes the standard, but it could be dangerous. Educate people. It should not be the teams that heard over the radio that someone crashed in the breakaway and now to watch on the downhill, because that's how it is now. It should be part of the package that the teams and the riders get ahead of time, is they know where the dangerous parts are, if there is some borderline sections that do pass the safety checks, but then could be dangerous under high intense race conditions, or say it starts raining or whatever. You guys get it. It's time for change. The only people, let's face it, I've been doing this for a long time. You've been watching and doing this for a long time. Nothing's happened. Nothing's changing. There's a lot more squawk. There's a lot more talk, but there's zero action. It's so simple. It's so simple to make change. So we're going to start here. with this petition. Let's create this third-party organization. Let's figure it out. Let's get the conversation going. Let's show that we don't want this anymore. We as the fans, we as the industry, we don't want the riders in danger. We want to see safe, healthy man and woman on the machine crushing it in these races, because that's what inspires us and that's what we love about cycling. We are not here for the crashes. We are not here to read the articles about who won't be starting the Tour de France and the Giro because their career is injured, or because one of the most promising future hopes, Remco, is like nursing a broken pelvis. I mean, this is insane. Not necessary. These people deserve better. They deserve better from us. It's that simple. So let's make the change. Let's put the effort in. Let's come together. Let's unify and support the sport and the riders that we participate in and that we love watching people participate in. All right, guys, let's make this happen. So you can find this petition up above in my bio. Sorry, there's no way for me to put a link here in Instagram, or in my story. I put a link in my story, or my Twitter or Facebook, or if you follow me anywhere else, that's where it is. Or you could just message me and I'll give you the link. I'm passionate about this. I care about the sport. I care about our riders. I care about the future. My kids are going to be doing it. Your kids are going to be doing it. Let's make it awesome. Let's make it safe. Let's make it fun. Let's make it awesome. We have the power. All right, guys, all in. Let's do this.